Let's get ready to move with our chairs. So I have flipped my chair this way around because initially we're going to be using our chairs to assist a forward fold. You can have your chair the other way around. So I'm going to show you. We're going to come into a forward fold at some point, at any points. We're going to use the chair to support us as we take a forward fold. If you would prefer, we will move to having the chair this way around as we go. You can also take a chair to be a forward fold, especially if your forward fold is still quite high. You can also take your hands through to the seat and take your forward fold that way if you're not wanting to move your chair as much. I just don't want to be trying to avoid whacking my head on the upper part of my chair. So I flipped my chair for our beginning bit. So let's just take a moment, do a quick few shoulder rolls. I don't know if you've done any of the other warm-ups. So let's just kind of get our shoulders a little warmed up. Let's drop our chin to our chest. Take a half roll, rolling from side to side. So breathe, become aware of your body. Make sure you're standing in alignment with those knees unlocked. Your hips over your ankles, your shoulders over your pelvis. If you kind of forgot to align yourself, just take a moment, feel yourself very present. So we're going to start. I'm going to face the chair. A very classic part of yoga is called the sun salutation, where you take your prayer up, you take your arms to prayer above you, and then you forward fold and bow to the earth. And then you rise again. There's various ways it's done. So we're going to start with very simple classic sun salutation. And what's lovely about the sun salutation is it warms the body up and it encourages us to bring length to our hamstring strings, and it warms the spine. Actually, let me think about it. I'm going to switch us. I'm going to start us briefly sitting. So come to sitting on your chair. So I'm going to give you a little chair sun salutation as a way to warm my body a little, and then we'll move into standing. So come to your alignment. Take a couple of breaths, just feel your body in space. Maybe cultivate gratitude for the chance to practice some exercise. Gratitude for the work your body has done for you over your lifetime. And then take your prayer to the sky. And then exhaling, we'll take our hands to our thighs and fold forward, a long spine as far as you can go, then round. And then tuck the chin and roll up. And let's take a shoulder roll at the top. And then again, inhale. And then exhale, hands to the thighs, pouring your body down. Inhale as you roll up. So this is a wonderful way, tie my hair up, a wonderful way to warm your spine up. So let's do one more. So inhale up. And then exhale. Pouring your body down. And actually, I'm like the trumpet player in the New York subway. When I used to live there, I always used to say one more tune, then he'd play another. After that, one more. Take your prayer up. Let's warm your spine up. Again, this is something, if you're feeling stale and you're sitting down and you want to just do something without standing, you could do a couple of these. Let's clasp the edge of your chair. Let's take a side bend. So we're going to root the opposite hip down. These will be a little familiar from our start of class, our seated series only. We'll take another one. And let's take an easy twist. We'll twist to the right first. So we'll take an easy twist. And take an easy twist. Again, we go into more depth with this in the seated sequence. Now come into standing, supporting yourself as you need to. And now we will take the standing version of our sun salutation. So you're going to give yourself a little distance from your chair. You're going to use it to support your forward fold. So inhale, take your prayer up. Exhale, bend the knees a little as you forward folding. So we're not hanging on our ligaments as you forward fold. Take your hands to your chair. You might need to adjust to find your distance. I'm keeping a bend. You can keep a bigger bend. I'm pretty flexible, but you can keep as much of a bend in the knees as you can to forward fold and find your way into your forward fold. Now bend your knees. Take your hands to your thighs, and we're going to roll up as we did sitting and take our prayer to the sky again. And hands to prayer at your heart. If rolling up, some spines have histories of injury and pain, that rolling through the spine doesn't work. Your option will be when we come, we put the hands and knees to keep your flat back. Activate your core very strongly and rise with a flat back. Any of you can try that option, but that's definitely an option if rolling through your spine doesn't work for your body. Take your prayer to the sky. Inhaling as you do so, then bend the knees a little as you forward fold and exhale. Empty every drop of air so you haven't kept a single molecule of stale air, and then hands to the thighs as you hinge or roll, inhaling as you go. And then exhaling, hands to prayer at the heart. Again, we're going to try and make our inhalations and our exhalations match our movement. So inhaling, prayer to the sky. A little bend of the knees. Exhale, hands to the chair, forward fold, bow. Hands to the knees, inhale. Hands to the knees, sorry. And then inhale, rise. Hands to prayer. I'm actually going to add something on. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. This is a great core strength. The inhale, flat back, half lift. So now, depending where your hands are, on the chair or whatever, flat back, you're going to send the crown of your head in one direction, the tailbone, the base of the spine, and the other, coccyx, and you're going to knit the core. And then exhale, forward fold. Now bend the knees, push off the thighs, hinge or roll, rise. Hands to prayer at the heart. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale, prayer to the sky. Forward folding, bending your knees, supporting your body as you bow. Empty every drop of air. Half lift, flat back. Forward fold. Hands to thighs, bend the knees, hinge or roll, rise with support. Hands to prayer at your heart. Pause. Feel your body. So in yoga we have a term called prana. It's our life force energy. It lives in everything, in our bones, in our flesh. It is solid and weighted. Our blood, it moves. And then there is spirit. So prana lives in everything. When we move our body and our blood gets flowing, we can feel how alive we feel. So tune into the beautiful movement of prana from those simple movements. Let's take one last one. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees a little, hands to the chair as you forward fold. Half lift. Exhale, bow. Hands to the thighs and rise. Hands to prayer at your heart. If you ever feel lightheaded as we're rising, tuck your chin at the top and pause. If taking the head lower than the heart is not good for your body for a variety of reasons that you're aware of because your doctor has told you, instead of forward folding, you'll do a flat back, or you might be better off, I should have said this earlier, doing the sequence on this side of the chair so that this is your forward fold. So wherever you're at, move so that you can hold onto the back end of your chair. I'm flipping my chair so I can stay looking at you. You can also, and I like my yoga mat and I like where I am, but you can also just walk around your chair. So we're now going to use our chair for balance. So let's take our left hand, support ourselves in the chair, find our alignment. So find your evenness before we move into unevenness. So find your evenness, and then as we lift the right leg, pay attention. We will bring weight into the side. Can we do so without collapsing on the side? Can we maintain that alignment on that left side? Going to lift the leg and we're going to circle. So now it can be, your leg can be a couple of centimeters or inches off the ground. It can be a little higher. Your circle can be small and it can be bigger. I would say start smaller and then get bigger, and start lower and then get higher. Change direction. So because we're standing, this is very similar to our seated movement, but there's more muscle engagement. The foot is flexed and release. Give it a little shake. Now we're going to bring the leg up and we little micro bend in the knee. We're going to take it back and we're going to tap it. I'm just going to turn this way so you can look at my alignment. I'm not swinging my body. I'm going to bring the leg up and I'm going to take it back. I'm keeping my torso, my center of gravity, over the central line where it was. So we're taking the leg up and we're tapping. Your tap could be right behind the foot, it could be further back. wherever is good for your balance. Take it up, tap. Take it up, tap. Keep moving and breathing. Last one. Tap. Give your standing leg, give that ankle a bit of a circle. Give your legs a little bit of a shake. Now we'll take yoga's favorite pose, tree pose. So we're going to keep our hand for some balance and support. If your balance needs two hands, I want you to turn towards your chair and use both hands on the back of the chair. If you feel you can have one hand only, that's great. But even better is to take two hands if that's what your body needs. Only correct way to do a yoga pose is do it in a way that doesn't compromise your body and you feel it where you should be feeling it. That is the key. So let's bring our weight into our left leg. Tree pose, you've seen many pictures of tree pose, maybe you haven't. Tree pose, we're balanced on the standing leg. Right leg lifts. There's no correct angle. The correct angle to this knee is your hips' natural alignment. The goal of tree pose is not to open the leg like a ballerina. It's to balance with the ankle, the sole of the one foot on the calf or shin of the other or the inner thigh. So your toes can be on the earth for balance. If that is where you can work and remain stable and calm and maintain your mental and physical equilibrium, stay there. We've maintained our alignment. The hand on the chair is just for balance, just for a little support and safety. Maybe you can bring the ankle, the calf up to the sole of the foot up to the calf. Where we don't want the foot is on the knee. You can also grab the foot if you're flexible and bring it higher up. I'm not teaching that right now because I'm thinking that for most of us, this is good enough. Now, once you're in place, you can place one hand you can keep one hand on the hip, place one hand on the heart. Your belly is your center of gravity. We want that knitting of the core, the lengthening of the spine. You can even bring your attention, your mental attention to the core. Take your gaze to the floor, to something that's not moving. That really helps. And breathe. Maybe you can release the other hand and bring your hands to prayer pose at your heart. You can even take one hand prayer at the heart, keep the other on the chair for safety. Breathe. You might find the standing foot wobbling and shaking. That's fine. It's the brain adjusting to where you are in space and keeping you balanced. It's your body doing its work. And release. Give the standing foot a shake. Give it a little turn. Beautiful. That was tree pose. So now you're going to turn around and do the other side. So the other hand is on the chair. I'm just going to flip my chair because I want to keep looking at you. And if you want to keep looking at your camera, feel free to do the same thing or eventually practice with two chairs. So other side, we're going to ground into the right leg, right hand on the chair. We're going to raise the left leg and we're going to circle. Again, start small. Big circles aren't better than small, they're just different. When we do a smaller circle, we're actually able to activate some of the finer muscles of the inner thigh and the pelvic floor. The bigger circles activate more on the outside. Well, they activate both, but you can feel there's slightly different emphasis. So I should have said change direction. You can change direction. So we're warming our hip up, bringing a nice range of motion. You're standing for a little shake. Anytime you need to do that, do so. Come to stand now. We're going to bend that knee in and you're going to have a little tap. So remember the micro bend. We're not swinging our torso back and forth. We're actually not hinging it back and forth. We're pretty much keeping it where it is. Pay attention to your core. Hand on the hip is going to help you balance. Should have said if two hands on the chair is necessary, do so. It's a little tricky with possibly bumping your knee on the chair. So pay attention. Tapping the foot back might be just behind the heel of the front leg. It might be further back. Last one. And give everything a shake. Release your muscle tension. If you're holding tension in the breath or the body or the face, the goal is to remain soft in our breath and our energy while we practice things, even if they're difficult. So let's come to tree on the other side. Ground into that standing foot. Find your balance before you move. Find your center of gravity. Knit your core. Hand on the hip will help you find that balance. Maybe your toes are on the floor. Maybe you're feeling more confident and you can bring the calf and the arch of the foot to each other. Maybe you're super flexible and you can bring the leg all the way up, but more interested in you remaining up aligned and balanced and calm and keeping the foot low. Bring your mental attention to the core. It's where you're balancing from. It will help you. Your eyes can rest just in front of you, a couple of feet in front of you on the floor. Ideally, look at something that's not moving. Have one hand on the heart, so the left hand can be on the heart. You can even take a half prayer. You can maybe see if you can take that hand off the chair. Take full prayer. One of the tricks with tree, should have said on the other side, is you press the sole of the foot into the calf and you press the calf back into the sole of the foot. It helps with the balance. And release. Have a nice little shake. So, ankles, hands to the hip. This is another one where you might actually prefer to have the hands on the back of the chair and be more even in your balance and a little safe in your movement. We're going to raise and lower. I'm going to stay this way just so you can see more of me. I'm going to raise up and lower down. So much like some of our weights work, you'll feel lifting up, you're resisting gravity, you're lifting weight, it's harder. Dropping down, you could potentially kind of flop back down. Can you become even? So can you almost create resistance or resist lowering as you're lowering so that the movement can have equal work? There is actually a lot of good that we build in our musculature when we work with resistance like that. When we create our own resistance to our own movement, or when we work in the opposite action. So we think that the heavy lifting action, we're lifting away from gravity, is the one that's important, but actually there's a lot of value in that opposite action too. So let's rise on up. You can go as high or low. And remember, practice grace, practice empathy. If this is extremely difficult because you haven't done it in decades, that's fine. Today is a new day. And we're working on building strength and stability in your ankles, waking up neurological pathways between the feet and the brain. Last one. Your calves are probably feeling it. So now let's just bend left leg, kind of big bend. You might feel it kind of intensely if you've got arthritis in those toes. Soften the bend, don't go all the way in. If you don't have arthritis but you're feeling sensitivity, a lot of us have some inflammation in the feet, or we actually are tight. That is an uncomfortable stretch in the big toe for most of us because of various foot reflexology reasons that we won't go into now. But it is a good stretch if it is not, you're not experiencing the sharp pain of arthritis. If you are, please don't stretch all the way into it. And release. So now I'm going to do a wide leg stretch. I'm actually going to bring, for this, I want you to have two hands in the chair. I'm going to go either side, and I think you can see my feet. Let me see. There we go. So I've been trying to figure out how to do this. So I'm going to have feet on either side. We're going to start with one left foot, say. Lower it down. So much like before. We're going to lift and then lower. So lifting, try avoid flinging it up. It's a little easier now. Can you lift and lower with equal resistance? When you're lowering, it's almost like you're compressing a ball beneath the feet. So we're lifting and lowering. I'm going to take the chair away for a moment. See my legs, how I'm aligned. My knees are in line with the center of my feet. They're coming out naturally from my own natural angle. This is not ballet. I'm not trying to turn the feet and the hips out. I'm just moving with the natural angle of my pelvis. So it might look quite differently for you. You want the knee to line up with the center of the foot. I have the same alignment of my spine. My shoulders are over my pelvis. My core torso is lifting as a cylinder, and my core is knitting. Let's do one last round. So starting on your first side. Maybe you feel a little fatigued by now. On your second, straighten the legs. You can even give the legs a little shake. You can even do a little mashed potato for heels, give the legs a shimmy, and then come back. So now let's take, this is going to get trickier. If you want to go back to one to the other side, please do. Try it. Can you raise both and lower with control? Raise both, lower with control. If you're still working on one at a time, please work there. Lower with control and straighten the legs. So now, maybe a little reminiscent of ballet for those of us who did it. Bend the knees, straighten. Now, bend the knees, sorry, lift the heels. Now, with the heels lifted, can you straighten your legs and then lower the heels with resistance, dropping them to the earth. As you lower them to resistance, keep that resistance, you should feel a lift running up through the inner leg, even through to the pelvic floor, and then release that. So lift the heels, rise up with the heels straight, leave a little micro bend in the knees, you're not locking them. Then lower the heels with resistance, and then bend back down again. This is a great hip strengthener, hip toner, pelvic floor toner, heel toner. It's a good one. So if you're still working with one side or the other, keep working there so that eventually you can join us in this sequence. Raise the legs, lower the heels with resistance, and you're drawing each hip deep into its socket at the same time. Whenever you feel you've done enough, feel free to stop. We'll do one more. Straighten up and drop down. Heel to the feet together. Whew, that was good. So let's take a little bit of a return and an add-on to what we've done already. So raise the right leg, gonna drop it back, but this time around we're gonna drop into a lunge. I'm gonna turn sideways just to show you, but I'm holding my imaginary chair next to me. So a lot of us get very worried about straightening that back leg, and as a result, arch the lower back. I want you to keep a spacious lower back, keep the back leg bent. If you have arthritis, bursitis, pain in your hips, and being in a lunge like this is painful, bring your position in smaller. Just have the knees, keep a narrow gap between the legs. Main thing I want to have happen is the front knee needs to line up with the center of the front foot. You don't want the front knee traveling beyond that foot, like that. It's going to strain the knee. You want that front knee pretty much above its ankle. So if you've brought the back leg in a little closer, you're going to have a smaller bend. So find your lunge. So in your lunge, your center of gravity is now directly between the 2 feet. Going to scissor the legs together to center. So you've sent the legs out of center, going to scissor them back to center. Now you're going to have a little straighten and a little bend of both knees. The back leg is bent if straightening it is forcing you to arch your lower back. So the back leg might stay bent for some of you. So again, you're probably feeling this in your ankles that we've just been working. When you straighten the legs, you want to draw the hips, thighs deep into the hip socket, and then lower back down with resistance. One last one. And lower. Now, step that back foot in a little, and let's see if we can bring it all the way up. Can even grab, just give it a little hug, and drop it down. And we'll switch to the other side. So, if I were you, I would just spin and look at your, spin with your back to the camera and listen to my instructions. You should be good, rather than swinging your chair around or have 2 chairs. So, raise the leg. And this time around, we're going to step it back into a lunge. So get used to your lunge, and your lunge may change. A very tight hip flexor, tight thighs might really limit your ability to have a straight leg at the back. Pay attention to your lower back. Again, we've sent our feet away from center, but you're actively drawing your legs back into center. As that happens, they'll scissor the legs. You'll probably find the pelvis rises a little. Turn the core. That you'll feel how that stabilizes the lower body. Hand on the hip, and now we'll straighten and bend both knees a little. It might be a lot, it might be a little. So moving with care. As we straighten, you will be drawing your thighs deep into the hip socket. keep breathing. So inhale up, exhale down. Last one. Come on up, step that back foot in and see if you can sweep it through. Maybe give it a little grab. If not, grab it at the front, give it a little hug and drop it down. Let's come back. Let's find some forward folds to end our practice. Inhale up. Exhale, we're going to forward fold. I'm going to flip my chair so I don't bang my head on the thing. Yeah, please don't flip your chairs constantly. Rather walk around your chair. Come to a forward fold. So find where you can forward fold in your chair. Maybe it's a flat back, it's safer for your body. If you've got glaucoma, if you've got high blood pressure, sometimes forward folding is not good for your body. Low blood pressure, forward folding can be tricky when you rise. So pay attention to what you need. So breathing in your forward fold. Bend the knees, hands to the thighs and rise. Hands to prayer at the heart. Where you're standing, let's take our chair, take a standing side bend. So if your right hand is on the chair, you're going to take a side bend to that right. You're going to ground the left feet into the earth. And you're going to breathe space into these ribs on the left side. And come on up, and we'll switch sides. I'll just switch with my chair right there. And take a side bend to the other side. And coming on up. Let's come to sitting just to close our time together. So coming to the front of your seat, take your prayer to the sky. Exhale, hands to the thighs, forward down, roll through your spine, and inhale, rolling up or hinging with a flat back, whatever's right for you. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold, empty your air. Inhale, rise. Let's take our right leg, cross it over the left, and we'll take that side twist. And then the other side. Cross the leg, take the side twist. If bringing your ankle to your knee is possible, we'll do that on the right side. Otherwise, let's just take your side twist again, or just take a side twist on that side. Otherwise, if ankle to the knee works for you, give yourself a moment to get it in there. We'll just take a little bit of a hinge forward, stretching into that hip. Most of us, our hips have lost their range of motion because of how we sit, walk, ride bikes, hike. There's not a lot of use of that outward angle unless we live in a culture where we sit cross leg or squat. And then switch sides. So might be able to lift that leg, bring it up if that's painful. If you can't do it, please don't. But if you're able to find a little bit of that stretch, do so. And let's come to closing. Let's take our arms up, inhale. Take your prayer to your gaze to your prayer, and exhale. Prayer to your heart. Sweep our prayer down to the earth, connecting to the earth. Inhaling, connecting to the sky, and then bringing that together to our heart. So we take our prayer to the earth, to all that grounds us. Prayer to the sky, to all that uplifts us. And then exhale. Hands to prayer. One more time to the things that root us, keep us stable, so that we can fly as we take our prayer high. And then last time, hands to prayer with your heart. If you'd like to close with a single yogic Om, do so. We inhale, and on the exhale we chant Om. It's like an A-U-H-M sound, and we let the M part resonate like a hum. It's a universal sound of all beings and all things. It has It's actually been scientifically discovered. Yogis knew about it thousands of years ago. It also unites our inner being with our spirit, our body and our spirit. It unites us with each other, and it calms our vagus nerve, which runs from the brain right through the body. And it's how the brain figures out if we need to be stressed out or not. So when we hum, we activate the vibration on this vagus nerve, and it calms our central nervous system. Any humming does it, but Om is a beautiful way to do it too. So let's practice one single Om together. Thank you for practicing. I've got time. I'm going to record one last video today of using weights, little weight bearing things standing up. Otherwise, I will do it tomorrow where my lighting and things may look different. But I look forward to sharing this all with you, and also look forward to your feedback. So questions, so some things you can't do, is there an alternate? And I'm happy to add things or give advice. And please don't ever work in a way that feels unstable, where you might fall, or where you have been told by a doctor or a medical professional you shouldn't be doing something that I'm telling you to do. Please don't do. And if you have any questions, let me know. But I don't think anything I'm asking you to do today is medically unsound beyond some unusual diagnosis I don't know about. But should be safe and healthy for your bodies.